So, okay, so I'm exploring this avenue. When did it all begin for me? When did the concept of Jesus come back into my life? It was when I was locked up, and one of the girls inside who was a Catholic, gave me a prayer of Saint Philomena, and a card, a bracelet. I've still got it. It sits with me, right beside me. I sleep with it every night. And it's a purity cord. The red standing for the blood that she shed when she was basically martyred because she refused to be promiscuous, to give herself to anyone but God, and the white standing for her purity and her virginity. And when I was telling BJ my story and that, she ran and got the cord, she got me the prayer, and when I flipped it over, there was like this whole introduction to the concept of Jesus, and it was like it triggered something in me, and it was like it brought me back to life. And then of course I ended up getting my Bible and going to church on Sundays and that. And even though I understand crosses and crucifixes and robes and chalices and that completely different to the way religious people do, it was nice being around something that at least felt familiar to me when I was going through the darkest moment of my life, having to stand and fight for my indigeneity and my connection to God in that day in, day out, and being poisoned for it and persecuted for it and ripped away from my children for it. With BJ introducing me to that connection to Jesus again, it became the air that I breathed. He became the air that I breathed. He was something through BJ and Saint Philomena and Jesus, and then being given my Bible, the Gideons, and connecting with Pastor Stephen. It became the air that I breathed. It kept me going. It gave me salvation. It gave me hope that I was no longer in this fight alone. That to me is the epitome of Jesus Christ. The oxygen carrier. He carries the message to become the air that people need to breathe in their deepest, darkest moments. That to me is what God is talking about when he talks about Jesus Christ, his son, his creation. Is it sun S-O-N or sun S-U-N? Is the sun the stars? Is the sun the moon? He favours both in the Bible, the worshipping of the sun and the moon in the Bible. If you look at it properly, it's a celebration of the mother and father. I pointed that out on my New Dawn Ministry Instagram, that even the Bible recognises that the sun is female, but it's hidden in there because the religious council, let's just say, don't want you knowing any of this, because they don't want you to build the bridge to have that connection to God yourself. They want you to go through the middleman, because then they can tell you what to do and what to think, and that's not faith. That's a cult. God wants you to find your own way to him. However, that being said, if going to church and sitting with your priest or your rabbi or your imam or your sister or your whoever, if that's the air that you breathe, then you take as many breaths as you need, because I'm not here to tell anyone anything about anything. I'm more trying to remind Indigenous people who we are and what we came from, and it was us been born asking questions that got us off Africa and made us become French, Dutch, Norwegian, Greek, Italian, Siberian, Russian, Polynesian, whatever. We're, we're pathfinders, we're navigators, and asking questions is a form of navigation. So, when I have my radio show, I want to invite people from all over the world, all faiths, all religions, and that, where we all sit down and just really get to know each other. Like, hi, this is what I believe in. Welcome, sit down, have a coffee and a cake. I made it myself. So it's a bit of Shirley in there. Shirley Whittaker would so want to take credit for all of that. Let's sit a Catholic down with a atheist and a Hindi and a Muslim and a Catholic and let's all just sit down as like-minded, spiritually guided individuals, and like, let's just get to know each other instead of like your God and my God and blah 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 blah. Let's just sit down and say, so like, what made you find God? Like, what prayer do you go to when you need it from the most? Like, for me, it's the Lord is my shepherd. Psalm 23. My God, that was like every time I just needed to really dig deep and bite my lip and just put up with what it was they were throwing at me in those meetings and stuff. I would just go back and, yeah, the Lord is my shepherd. Oh, God. So there's going to be people there that I invite that, like me, didn't find their faith until later on in life. There's going to be people that I invite that were born into it, and I can't wait to just sit down and get to know these people and who they are and what their faiths and religions and that mean to them personally, and not trying to convert anyone or trying to convince anyone that their God or their prophet or that is whatever, but just sitting down and getting to know the people one-on-one and coming together as like a collective of people just wanting to show the human personal side of faith. There's going to be a lot of us who found faith in their darkest moments, like in prison or like me, where it was like the road to Damascus, boom. I've seen the light. Like, you can't convince me otherwise now. I can't unknow the existence of God now that I've discovered a science that perfectly describes the existence of God. It's just that I had to look at it all from a different angle, because God is a kaleidoscope, So you just have to find the right picture that pleases your eye when you take it in and drink it, So it's creation is the nectar of the gods as far as I'm concerned. And when you get to drink from that cup, you become addicted. And that's what I can't wait to soak it all up. I can't wait to get out there with my boys and see the world and just sit down and talk to people and go to places where things happened and just soak it all in. And on my way, I'm hoping I can find the answer to, was God a man or was he a myth? Sorry, Jesus. Was Jesus a man or was he a myth? Either way, I mean, he's still pretty epic. He is the one, he's the original trailblazer, regardless of how you look at it. He forged the path that many of us are now following. It's just that a lot of us have been led to believe that in order to get to that destination, we had to follow the same path. But it's not. We have to follow our path to the destination and no one else's, because our journey is not their journey, so our paths can never ever be identical and exactly the same, because no two stories and no two ways that they got onto those paths are ever going to be the same, because faith is found, not taught. And that's what I can't wait to get into. So anyway, these are just putting my little things out there. But it will be done a bit more professionally, I promise, once we get a home and internet and editing and jingles and sounds and all those nitsy gritsies of things. Shirley, oh God, I love her so much. She's probably the best character I've ever written ever in my life. I love her so much. I love it because like she's with her etiquette classes and that, she's just utterly convinced she's full of culture. But she tries so hard, bless her. I just adore her. She's probably of all the characters I've ever created ever in my life, Shirley Widdicombe, Shirl's Pearls. Her pearls of wisdoms. I can't wait to do her. I just adore her. Anyway, so yeah, this is the start of it, guys.